How's it going? Today we're going to talk about finding the discriminant and using the discriminant and what exactly that means. It's part of our greater conversation on imaginary numbers, complex numbers. So things we're going to talk about, the discriminant we use for quadratics. And we use it to tell whether there are two real roots, one real root, or zero real roots. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a little formula, and essentially, if you have a positive answer, you can have two real roots. If you have zero as an answer, you're going to have one real root. And if you have a negative answer, you're going to have no real roots, okay? And the reason this is that this comes as part of an equation. This is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And this was a formula you guys used probably back in the 9th grade. And it was just something we used to solve quadratics, right? We plugged in a, b, and c and did all the math. We are only concerned about this chunk right here, right? Because we're going to be taking the square root of the answer. Now, again, you guys know if we get a positive square root, that's fine. If we get 0 as a square root, well, the square root of 0 is 0. So I'm going to add and subtract 0, get the same number. But more important for us is if we get a negative number in here, we're not going to have any real roots. We're going to have imaginary numbers as our roots, okay? So all we really need to know is b squared minus 4ac. Okay? That's what we need to know. And again, if you guys forgot, the form looks something like this. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. And we call that standard form. Okay? And so pretty much what are we going to say is that we need to make sure it's equal to 0. A is the coefficient for the x squared, b is the coefficient for x, and c is a constant at the end. Okay? So let's take a look at some answers. Not some answers, some questions. Okay, so they gave us this. It's in standard form, right? I have a t squared, I have a t, I have a constant, it's equal to 0. Okay? We said x, it can be whatever variable they want, but again, x squared, in this case, t squared, t, constant, 0, t squared, t, constant, 0. Okay, so what are we going to say? We want to know what's a, what's b, and what's c. Well, a is the coefficient here, which is 1, not 0, right? If there's no number there, it's a 1. Here, my coefficient is 4, and here my constant is c. So what are we going to say? We want to know what's b squared minus 4ac. Well, b is 4, so we're going to say 4 squared minus 4, a was 1, and c was 8. Well, 4 squared is 16. Okay, and negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, and negative 4 times 8 is going to be negative 32. Right? 16 minus 32 is negative 16. Since this answer is negative, there are the discriminant is negative 16, but there are no real solutions. Meaning, this was a problem we wouldn't have been able to answer before, but we'll be able to answer now that we know something about imaginary numbers. Again, what is that number? That number we would want to be taking the square root of that number. If we took the square root of negative 16, we're going to get two non-real answers. So no good. Okay. Okay. Find the discriminant. Tell how many solutions does the equation have. Okay. So again, it's in standard form. A is equal to 1. B is equal to 2. And c is equal to 1, right? So again, what are your coefficients? 1, 2, and your constant was 1, okay? So we got b squared minus 4ac. So that's going to be 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 1. 2 squared is 4. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And 4 minus 4 is 0. So this has one real solution. It's got one real and one non-real. Okay? And again, why? Because when I take the square root of this, if we go back to our original equation, the square root of 0 is 0. So I would be adding and subtracting 0, okay? Again, think about when we normally take the square root of a number, we get a positive answer and a negative answer, right? So we'd have one added and one subtracted. In this case, we're adding and subtracting 0, so we're going to have the same number in both cases, so we'll only have one real solution. Okay, let's find the discriminant. Again, in this case, A is 4, B is 4, and C is -6. Don't forget to bring that negative sign with you. This negative sign has to go with you. So what are we going to say? We're going to say B squared minus 4AC. That's going to be 4 squared minus 4 times 4 times -6. Well, 4 times 4 is 16. Over here, again, -4 times 4 is going to be was it -16. -16 times -6. Well, again, even if you don't know what -16 times -6 is off the top of your head, you do know that it's going to be a positive number, right? You do know that the negative times negative is going to be a positive. So you can go ahead and you can kind of fast forward. They didn't ask you for what it actually was, but you are going to have a positive number. 16 times 6 is, what we got, 6 carried to 3, 96. Okay, and again, that gives us, what's it, 112? Okay, so again, positive number, 2 real solutions. Okay, so again, it's a quick way to check, and in this case, you didn't even have to do all the math. You see, if this is a positive number, I see a negative and negative here, I know that this is going to be a positive number as well. Okay, again, let's find the discriminant. A is 4, B is -5, C is -8. We want to do B squared minus 4AC. Make sure this -5 is going inside parentheses. Okay, 4 times 4 times -8. Again, what do you see here? This will be positive, right? But again, I have a negative times a positive is a negative, and that negative times another negative will be a positive. So here, again, it doesn't even matter. I think it's 96, right? 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times... No, I was right. 8, 4, 128. Again, it doesn't matter because you know that it's positive. And all you really need to know is that if the answer is positive, you have 2 real solutions. Okay, so again, you can go through the hassle of doing this, but again, I see positive, negative times a positive is a negative. That negative times a negative makes a positive. So whatever it is, you know, a positive and another positive is going to give you a positive answer. Okay, here, let's be careful. A is equal to 9, and there is no B, right? It says ax squared plus bx, right? There is nothing with just a t to the first power. So we have to remember that b is equal to 0, and c is equal to -3. So again, we got b squared minus 4ac. That is 0 squared minus 4 times 9 times -3. Again, -4, well, this is 0, right? -4 times 9 is -36, and -36 times -3 is going to give me a positive answer. Again, is it going to be, what is it, 36, 36, and 36, 90, is what, 108? It doesn't matter, it's a positive number, okay? So like we said, discriminant is just a really quick way to check these things, right? Before you go through the hassle of doing the whole equation, okay? Here, we are not in standard form. This is not equal to 0. So the first thing we need to do is we need to move everything to the other side. So I move 4r squared, I move +1. Okay, everything has got to get moved over. Okay, so add and add, they're both negative, so what are we going to have over here? 4r squared plus 4r plus 1 is equal to 0, and now you can continue. A is 4, B is 4, C is 1. Okay, B squared minus 4ac. So we got 4 squared minus 4 times 4 times 1. 4 squared is 16. -4 times +4 is -16 times 1 is -16. 16 minus 16 is 0. That means there is one real solution. All right, again here, same thing. What are we going to say? A is 3, B is 0, C is 9. Little way that you can cheat a little bit if you want. Generally speaking, if this first term is positive, this last term is positive, and there's nothing in the middle, there's not going to be any real solutions. We can kind of go over that. A little bit of advanced trick, but again, b squared minus 4ac. Again, b is going to be 0 minus 4 times 3 times 9. Again, even if you don't know what 4 times 3 times 9 is, it's a negative times a positive times another positive will just give me a negative answer, right? So this is going to be 0 minus some number. Therefore, I know it's going to be negative. I know there's going to be no real solutions, but let's figure it out. 4 times 3 is 12. 9 times 12 is, what was it? 9 times 12 is 108. Okay, so we got, again, negative 108. Negative answer, okay? Good. Again, I think this is the last one. Last one? Yeah, okay. Again, A is 1, B is 3, C is 8, right? It's already nice. It's in standard form. It's equal to 0. We're going to say b squared minus 4ac. So it's 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3. Again, this is 9. Negative 4 times 1 is going to be negative 4. Negative 4 times 3 will be negative 12. Again, negative number, no real solutions. Okay, so again, I left that as your assigned task for today. Give it a shot. There's going to be no new work tomorrow. We'll be back on Thursday.